motorcycle club, several motorcycle clubs, and we come out to Green Ridge a lot. In fact, the last weekend of May, or April, first weekend of May, we were planning on having our annual camp out and ride. And since it's going to be closed, we're taking our money and going to Pennsylvania. We found out about the trails, the draft report, about a week before the meeting. And we wrote and called and asked them for copies of the draft so that we could speak intelligently when we went to the meeting. 24 hours before the meeting, they finally released the draft report. It's a 95-page, if you haven't seen it, it's a 95-page report with about 15 pages of text, and the rest of it's pictures. So we went to the meeting, and at the meeting they gave the presentation, which is the slides that were on their website, and talked a lot about Poplar Lick and the studies they did there. In fact, I'd say they spent 45 minutes of their time talking about that. They were questioned about using bridges, putting bridges in, and the biologist said, in his opinion as a biologist, bridges didn't work. But there was somebody from West Virginia and Virginia that had shown that they were involved in some similar things there, that they were able to mitigate the problems with bridges. So, although they stated a problem, they didn't state any courses of action or analysis of those courses of actions, anything other than just close it. And then they talked a little bit about their process, and all of a sudden just said, the Green Ridge Loop is unsustainable. That's it. And wouldn't tell us why. Talked a little bit about their rattlesnake habitat and things like that. And then gave everybody a chance to talk. The room was filled with maybe 100 people, 75 to 100 people, almost entirely ATV riders, guys that drive trucks, 4x4 guys, motorcycle associations. There was 4 AMA district motorcycle clubs there. There was a local AMA representative there. I was there. They spent a lot of time talking about how they would like to help open new areas. But when they talked about money, they talked about getting grants from Yamaha and people like that. My guess is if they heard that the state just closed their best trail, it would be hard to get people to give grants. They talked about raising fees, which as motorcyclists, we have no problem raising fees, and as a licensed bike, I have no problem paying a fee to ride the Oro V-Loop, and we mentioned that's a good idea, but if you pointed out, since you closed Green Ridge, where are you going to get your money? The most popular trail around here, that money could have been used either to mitigate or to buy new land or whatever. So my impression was that the helping open new lands, although they were sincere, was somewhat of a smokescreen. They had already made up their mind to close the trail. As a result of those meetings, they kept it open a few more weeks for some of the folks that had made arrangements to camp there. We pointed out that it was kind of close it with so little notice that some of us who made plans was unfair. So they did keep it open a little bit longer. And then out of the blue, they come up with this meeting to go to see if they could relocate the trail. Gave us 48 hours notice, and did it. Meeting was on a Thursday.
April 7th.
I asked them, could you move it to Saturday so that those of us could show up? And they said, no, it's on a fast track. It has to be done on that Thursday. We had one member come out who has done a lot of, owns a construction business, does a lot of work with the state building trails and things like that in other areas. And he walked through there and he said there was absolutely no reason that we couldn't have done any of the mitigations for the trails. We could even relocated the trails with some slight area of work. I know the guys that I ride with, we all willing to volunteer to help take care of the place, but his impression was they were just going through the steps. They had no intention of relocating the trail. They had no intention of building a new trail. They were going to shut it down. And that's where we're at. I've written, asked them for a copy of the criteria that they're going to use to evaluate the forest. I've written and asked that I would like to get a copy of the report when it's done and things like that. But my impression from talking with them, going to the meetings, writing our input, was that this is a done deal, and it's driven about the Sustainable Forest Initiative. And I shared with you guys a copy of the report that I sent, and I put a 9-page analysis of the report and sent it in to them. I think I've shared it with Sid.